Alright YouTube, I've got a little update video to do on my Old Town Pack 12. So I made a video a couple years ago right when I bought this canoe, and it was something like, why I bought a canoe instead of a kayak. And a lot of people took it as saying that it was better than a kayak, or maybe that I don't know. I was trying to say that for some reason it was better than one or the other, but I wasn't trying to say that. I was really just saying that for the purposes that I was going to use this boat. It was the right fit for me at the time. So I use the canoe. Over the last couple of years, I go to a lot of remote places and do a lot of camping, in particular in the Quatico wilderness. I took it on a trip to Canada, and there's no motors up there, and you have to do a lot of portaging around waterfalls, and nobody's going to bring a 80-pound kayak. You can't carry that for miles. That's something you gotta have something a little reasonably light. So that's the reason big reason I got this pack 12. Also, I need to be able to pack a week's amount of gear in the canoe, and there's just, you could probably try in some of the fishing kayaks, but if you were packing light, maybe you could do it, but you just can't. You just can't get as much gear as you can in a canoe. That being said, in 2016, I did a whole lot of kayak tournaments from this canoe. So I'm going to kind of go over the setup I have going, because some of the stuff's changed in the 2 years I've had this boat. So let's see, where should I start? So this is my Christmas present from my wife. Got me this Christmas present here. This is the Bending Branches Navigator paddle with the carbon fiber shaft and the fiberglass reinforced blades. The thing I like about this over that old paddle I had, which was the aluminum Bending Branches aluminum shaft, is whenever you don't realize that it's that aluminum shaft, you don't realize how much flex you have in the paddle. If you've never tried a carbon fiber paddle, you should try it sometime. And you'll find out real quick that you've got a much more rigid shaft, and you can get a lot more efficiency and a lot more leverage out of each paddle stroke. So that's the first little upgrade most recent upgrade actually. Okay, and then besides that, I got this giant tackle box. Try and get that on a fishing kayak, so I can carry a ton of tackle. I try and decide what, have a plan obviously, and I'll put what I plan on using in this top hatch, and then other things, sunscreen, and sometimes I can throw a granola bar in there. So here's a granola bar. And then I've got some tackle trays in there, and then here's my glasses from when the sun's going down. And then let's see what else is different. I have a different seat now. This is the Bass Pro model. It's just another canoe seat that they sell. This one's just a little tougher than that previous one I had. I got a waterproof OtterBox for my phone, so I can run the GPS off that. You can see my GPS there. It's pretty cool. I did set it up with a 12-volt system, so there's the battery, and then I've got my phone plugged into it, and then that little switch here turns on let's see if you can see that. Turns on the those are supernova lights. So those are pretty cool. Those are a lot of fun, especially, they're a lot of fun, but they're also kind of a safety thing whenever you're fishing into the evening or early in the morning, like the tournaments tend to start. Battery might die on me here. So let's see. Yeah, this rod holder mount. So I made this thing. I got some flush mount rod holders, and then I cut a piece of wood to the right size and stained it to match. Not exactly match, but I mean, just to look good with the rest of the boat. So I can carry more rods than I could previously. So I usually put 4 behind me and have 1 or 2 up in front, so I can carry 5 or 6 rods, no problem. And then here's the Yak Attack flag. I got the ram mount Yak Attack flag, as you can see here, so that I can, whenever I'm not using it, I'll just fold it up and put this bungee strap around it and just fold it down into the boat. So I just leave it on there all the time. So that's cool. It's got that 360 light on it, which is required most of the time for kayak tournaments. Let's see. Not a whole lot else. That's that Humminbird fish finder. I'm still running that thing. I did cut the tube on it shorter so that it doesn't drag in the water near as much. So it does create some resistance when I'm paddling. So if I'm going to be changing spots going a long way, I will pull it out of the water, But if I'm fishing offshore, then I'll be using that, or if I'm jigging, I'll be using that to find the fish. So let me see. What else can I say? So I have participated in some tournaments this year, or last year, 2017 now. And here's my bump board. Even did the Yak Fort Tournament of Champions. And I didn't do great, but I did decently well in some tournaments and not so well in others. But this boat definitely is, it wasn't holding me back. I'll say that much. Cup holder. It's a new improvement. Gotta have a cup holder. But it's definitely not. This boat wasn't designed for fishing kayak tournaments. And I can definitely see the advantage. After fishing in these tournaments, I can definitely see the advantage of the pedal drive kayak, which I may be, investing in one of those in the future. But if just because this is, it's a solo canoe doesn't mean you can't fish from it. I beat plenty of Hobies in, several tournaments. Plenty of Hobies, plenty of times when those guys weren't catching fish. The skill of the angler is very important. And then on the other hand, I have had a couple tournaments where I pretty much skunked out. So it just, it's a good boat. And even if I do end up getting a pedal drive boat in the future, I'm keeping, this is, going to be, it's a very important boat to me. It's lightweight, like I said in the last video, weighs less than 30 pounds without all the add-ons. Once you put all this stuff on it, probably closer to 40 or 45 pounds, but that's nothing. I mean, just, put it right on my shoulder, I could carry it forever. Or I've got this clamp-on yoke here. Clamp this on. Clamp this on about right here. Put it on your shoulders, you can go for miles, miles and miles and miles. So, as far as it's a beast as far as wilderness camping. But still a good boat, and I'm still going to use it for a while. With the market's kind of getting saturated in pedal drive kayaks, so now I've got some thinking to do before I pick one. I want to see what all's out there, and maybe test a couple out. But I really like this boat still, and not gonna find an easier boat to car top, I promise you that. I'm kind of dreading that, about getting that, 100-pound kayak and trying to get it on top of that truck. Who knows? Maybe it won't be as bad as I'm thinking.